Bathing. So let me give you guys a quick rundown of how much money has been printed or promised to be printed through fiscal and monetary policy. The number I saw this weekend was 23 trillion. What is U.S. GDP? I think it's around there. Yes, GDP. What is GDP? Total GDP is 21 trillion. So we printed the equivalent of a little bit more than 1 year's worth of how much money, if you will, the U.S. economy produces.
So very easy. We all just bite the bullet for 3 years, tighten our belts, and we pay everything back.
Yeah, right. Like that's going to happen. China is 14 trillion. Japan is 5 trillion. So pretty amazing. We printed more money than the second, third, and probably the top 10 countries.
So this
combined.
becomes a real problem because I think if the trends are, or if we're going the way of the trends,
mm-hmm.
because I think and it was the only thing I was really hoping that Trump would do is renegotiate the debt with China.
Yeah, I thought so too.
And now we're in trouble because Biden ain't going to do that.
No, but I don't think China, who owns the most debt? I had heard Thailand actually owns a ton of it.
Oh, that's great. We'll just take that country over.
We'll do it with China, too.
That's how we did it in the old days.
Oh, I thought you said it was live.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just go ahead and start the show.
Hey, good evening, everyone. This is Robert with Mr. Texas Real Estate, joined by my partner, Jason Bible. And this is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. Thanks for joining us tonight. We appreciate it. We are 8 days away from the election. We're talk a little bit about that tonight, what that might mean for us in real estate, and what that means as entrepreneurs, business owners, and such.
Yeah, so let's go. We're talking about debt. So Japan is number one. They own 19% of the U.S. debt at 1.3 trillion. China is 16% at 1 trillion, which people wonder, like, well, Jason, why does is it the Sixth Fleet? I think it's the Sixth or the Seventh Fleet that rolls into the Sea of Japan whenever China starts doing something goofy with Japan. I'm like, well, because they own 1.3 trillion of U.S. debt. So the United States is not just going to let them goof around. And
yes, they have it at whatever, 1.9% and the battleship kicker.
Yeah, there's a battleship kicker.
There's a battle group kicker on there.
Yep. So who's third? Looks like UK at 6%. Is anybody greater than 6%? Now, this is weird. The Cayman Islands own 3% of U.S. debt. How do the Cayman Islands, if you guys have ever been there before, how do the Cayman Islands own 3% of U.S. debt? That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's kind of weird. How does that work exactly? Where's all that money come from in the Caymans? That's strange.
Pacific Fleet.
That is very. Oh, it is. It is a Pacific.
It's the Pacific Fleet. Yeah.
I thought it was the Fifth Fleet or the Sixth Fleet or something like that.
The Sixth Fleet is based out of Italy.
Okay, that's kind of a large. That's a long way for them to travel from Italy to the Sea of Japan.
But that does get deployed over into the Mediterranean.
Mm-hmm. It's just aircraft carriers, just closer. What do they call it? The elephant walk. It's the elephant walk when folks are doing things they shouldn't be doing. So we'll talk a little bit about politics. It's supposed to be a market update, and I don't know what we're going to do with our Crash Bros. Everything's going to crash. What are we going to do, Crash Bros? I guess they're going to have to find a different job as an analyst somewhere because real estate ain't crashing.
Or just go to the two markets that will actually crash, right?
Yeah,
they can just hit all the Miami, all the Miami RIA clubs over and over and over.
Miami's a whole different
Vegas
deal.
RIA. There's a lot of RIA clubs in Vegas.
That doesn't surprise me.
I believe there's 2 nationally recognized there.
Really?
I thought so.
They got 2 in Vegas, huh?
Yeah. There was actually 3 big ones.
Mm.
Yeah. My buddy Steve runs one of them.
My guy, Logan, and I cannot pronounce his last name to save my life, Mahatashami on Housing Wire has a great article that came out, looks like Friday at 4:33, which is always funny when you post articles on. Actually, that wasn't Friday. I think it was Thursday. It was 22nd. The housing bubble boys blew it in 2020. However, existing home sales are not overheating this year. It's amazing when someone states an opinion, and then I say, okay, especially on Facebook, I love it. Give me some data, back that up. Even a poorly written article. No, Jason, you understand the world's going to end. I'm like, well, I guess eventually, yes, you are. The sun
You
will
are
become
correct, yeah.
so
Oh,
large
yep.
that it will fry
Yep.
Earth, right?
Yep.
I'll be long gone by then.
Yes.
Maybe most of humanity will be living on Mars. Maybe
There's
at that point.
there's no pills and lotion that's going to keep anyone long.
No.
Maybe Elon, though, we can download our consciousness.
We might be able to do that.
I'm hoping for that.
Little download the consciousness.
Yep.
How does that work? What if you don't get the right update?
Well, that's been something they've been working on a long time, and Elon is the closest now. He's interfacing with our brain. If you can download your long-term memory and your short-term memory, and you basically can put it into a program that operates the way that people think, and our cognitive thinking, our creative thinking, then you can download your consciousness.
It's all about Ghost in the Shell. All started.
I'm
with
ready
Ghost in
for
the Shell.
I'm totally ready for it. I'm totally ready to have my consciousness imported into an Android, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just live forever.
Yeah. Would you really want to live forever, though?
Oh, you could shut it off for 100 years. You could just have, like you have the snooze button.
Oh, yeah.
You could have, like, the threat. Wake me up if there's a global threat so I can get out of here. Or, hey, when the aliens come, wake me up.
Yeah.
Right? When we make first contact with another race, wake me up,
Yeah,
right?
that'd be fun.
Yep.
Okay, so fascinating report. NAR existing home sales report released today blew out all estimates with 6.5 million homes sold. This epic headline punctured any 2020 bubbles the housing bubble boys had left in their arsenal. But before we get too excited, keep in mind we are still down 0.2% year to date compared to 2019.
Right, because it's about 7 million.
It's about 7 million,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
This is very interesting. This is what I think is so important. When I keep telling folks, if you think real estate's expensive now, just wait. Again, all of our statements are backed up with data. So if you've got a different opinion, show me the data. I've often claimed that 2008 to 2019, okay, I want to explain the last 11 years. We thought the market was absolutely on fire.
Yep.
Look at all the appreciation that's occurred in the last 11 years. And he's going to make this claim, and it's completely true. I've often claimed that 2008 to 2019 would have the weakest housing recovery ever in history, and it did. This is why I keep telling you guys, if you think the housing market is hot now, it is nothing compared to what happens next. There were, for the last 2 years, I've done these market updates where I've taken the housing recovery from the previous two recoveries, and I put that trend line on what it looks like 2020 going forward. It's insane. I also said that new home sales recovery would be fairly anemic. Housing starts would never start a year at 1.5 million, and purchase apps would never hit 300 until the years 2020 to 2024. That's absolutely true. The next 5 years, if you want to get really, really rich in real estate, it's the next 5 years. It wasn't the previous 5. It wasn't the last 11. The next 5 years is where you're going to have to put in all your work. Well, here we are in 2020, entering into the best housing demographic patch ever recorded in U.S. history. I'm going to say that again. We're here in 2020, entering the best housing demographic patch ever recorded in U.S. history. This is going to blow away the boomers. It's going to blow away everything you've seen in housing in the post-industrial area ever recorded in American history.
Yeah, because there's a shortage.
There's a huge shortage. But demographically, the millennials are a larger group than the boomers.
Yes.
Like, it's a huge group. They've got more wealth. They've got more. There's more access to credit. Like, this is going to be absolutely amazing. So all these guys running around saying there's going to be this crash are so incredibly ignorant, it's not even funny.
You know, we talked about that at our mastermind this weekend. We had our quarterly mastermind, and we had a great time. But we talked to some folks who's like, we've got to start thinking about restructuring your portfolio. Because you have properties in there that you can absolutely dump to millennials. Mm-hmm. Like one of our guys bought these properties at $30,000, 10 years ago, and he can sell them now for probably $200,000 with just a little spit shine on them. Yeah. So, the people have got to get ready for the next 5 years. And if you've had that portfolio, you've had that rental portfolio, holy cow! I mean, I think it's time there are some folks who need to get in and get going, but there are some folks who need to start really planning their exit, right? Because over the next 5 years.
Or planning their exit to level up, to leverage
Sure,
up.
Yes, the repositioning of the portfolio. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's time to leverage up to that next level.
Getting out of all those little shotgun houses and moving up to something else.
Yeah.
Guys, this is Robert and Jason with Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. As always, if you're looking for us, check us out on our website, mrtxre.com, mrtxre.com. We will be back. Thank you.
How's that? Is that better?
Yeah. There you go. I'm on it. It's actually in my mouth.
There you go.
Hey, guys, if you're watching, thank you very much. Make sure you are on YouTube and you are subscribing and set your notifications. I also want to talk to you about our Patreon membership. It's $25 a month. So if you want to support us, you want to help A-Rock get his paycheck, that's what that's about. It's just basically we're trying to raise money for our marketing, and that's it's not a profit center for us. It's something we constantly will be reinvesting and doing better broadcasts, better one-off shows, better Q&A, better Zooms, all that stuff. In fact, today we have an interview with we are hiring a new media director at Mr. Texas Real Estate, and this is this guy is completely anti-guru, right? He knows nothing about any of those quit your job and blah, 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 blah. This is a big-time corporate marketing guy who has built and managed massive marketing programs and media campaigns, and so he's going to be coming on board. And the Patreon is just going to keep us being able to provide great content for you that you're looking for. We don't do our classes anymore. It's not really something we're doing. We're only really doing it for our Patreon members. So if you are interested, go to patreon.com/MRTXRE or just take a look here down in the description on YouTube or on our page or anywhere you're looking for. You'll see us. You'll find our Patreon link. But at the $25 level, Jason, they get all our recordings. They get once a month private access, Q&A, private Q&A. We used to do this to the public. We don't do it anymore. It's only for Patreon members. They get forms and contracts and other stuff, and we're slowly rolling out our library into the Patreon system. So for $25 a month, which is insanely, it's nothing, $300 a year, we're going to be able to provide you a ton of content for you. And you know us. We're straight shooters. That's the type of thing we do. And when we start getting into it, actually into the details, like we did on Wednesday night, we did a state of financing. It was an hour on financing for real estate investing that I've never seen anywhere else before. No one has done because they don't do the transactions, so they don't understand the numbers.
Yeah.
They just always say, hey, go see Jet, right? Well, we broke it all down, your best case scenarios, your worst case scenarios. And again, for $25 to have that type of knowledge at your disposal, it's a deal and a half. So go to our YouTube page, our Facebook page, our web page. It's going to be patreon.com/MRTXRE. Oh, he just put it in the description, and he'll also put it in the chat. So make sure you take a look at that. Well, we're going to get rolling back here. Let's just do the numbers real quick. So stay tuned here. Yeah, let me know when we're back. Hey, welcome back. Robert here and Jason from Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. Hey, if you have a burning question and you want to talk to us about mastermind or investing or anything along those lines, you can text us at 281-401-9008. 281-401-9008.
I still want to keep covering this article because it's so excellent.
Let's. I just want to do a quick little tangent, but a deep dive into that article because this was a number that always bothered me.
What's that?
Starting. How many deals are there really for investors?
Oh, it's not. It's diminishing by the day.
So there's 7 million transactions a year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? How many of those are going to be off-market deals, or you think non-Freddie Fannie first-time home buyer?
So let's say 6.5 million, and
Sure.
and there's 30%. Let's add another 30% that are off market. So we're at 8.45 million deals.
Sure.
So let's call it 3% of those are available to investors. That's 253,500 in a year.
Yep.
So divide that by 12. There are 21,000 houses a month available for real estate investors.
Nationwide. Right.
That's flips, that's wholesales, that's rentals, that's all that kind of stuff.
So just remember that number. So your abundance mentality stops at 21,125.
Right.
Right.
21,000. Now, here's something to note. Those are what I like to call real estate deals. Those are houses that need rehab.
Yep.
They're good rental properties, could be Airbnbs, but typically they're properties that are in some sort of distressed situation,
Sure.
right? And that doesn't mean foreclosure. It just means I got to sell it fast. I can't update mom's house because it needs to go on the market, but everybody's got plenty of money. We can hold on to mom's house forever, but we need to sell it. So it's 21,000 houses a month. Now,
how many do you think of those are probate, not actually staying within the retail or the family or the institution it's in?
I don't. That's probably not as important because let's say there's 21,000 houses. There's a percentage of those that are now. Well, these are solds, right? These are ones that are actually sold. So mom's probate house may take 5 years to get through probate, but then the house that's for sale today was in probate 5 years ago. So let's just call it 21,000. If we look at the Houston market, which is a decent representation of the nation, only 5% of those houses on the total market are below $150,000 at cash flow.
How many houses in Houston? 10?
What do you mean 10?
How many millions of single-family properties do we have?
I don't know what the total number is. It's a ridiculous number, whatever it is.
9 million? No, it can't be that high.
No. If we're at 21,000, less than 10% of those are going to be good rental properties, right?
So we would. I'm just trying to take just a really blanket percentage. So I'll find it. How many single? You can keep going. I'll find the data.
So let's call it 10%. So there are 2,000 houses every month available to landlords and mostly some Airbnb folks that make good long-term rentals. 2,000. That's it.
There's only 1 million.
Only 1 million what?
There's only 1 million homes in Houston.
Yeah, if that.
Okay, but there's 136 million in the country. So it's 7% of that 21,000.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So there's 1,470 here.
So it's 1,470 houses a month that are good for investors.
Yep.
Which is probably about right.
Yep.
Because we were buying at our peak, I was buying 10 to 15 a month, which, again, to go back to Mr. Abundance mentality, at that, let's see, 1470, let's call it 1470 divided by 15. Whoops, 15 divided by 1470. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, 1/10 of 1%.
Yeah, it's 1%. We were 1% of the market, which is crazy when you think about it. But then you got to look at.
No, you were 1/10 of 1%. 1% would be 15.
Okay, so 1/10 of 1%.
Yep.
So when you look at all the other guys in this marketplace, 1,500 homes is not a lot. And
I would say maybe we're only exposed to 3% of the marketplace.
If that.
Yeah.
So you've got, I could guarantee you between investors, institutional investors, and high volume investors, 10 a month. There's 100 of those guys.
No, you're right. You have 1% of the market.
Yeah, it's 1% of the market.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So you got to think having 1% of the market's huge, right?
Yep.
There are easily 10 other guys, if not almost 100, that have that same percentage.
Yeah.
So you got to think well,
at the time there was at least 20.
At least 20. That I could go and say, all these guys right here, they're all buying 10% of the market, 10 houses a month, easy, right? So that's 100. There's easily 100 guys when you add the institutional investors.
Sure.
There are people I run into that buy 10, 15 houses a month that I've never even heard of, and I've been in this marketplace 7 years.
Sure.
How many houses is Scott Wizik buying?
Right.
SWE Homes. 20 a month, 30 a month. So there are guys that are buying tons of property. So I love it when the abundance mentality guys are like, well, there's enough for everybody. I'm like, nah, not really. Not really. Not in real estate.
Right.
Now, there's probably plenty of room in electric cars and in software and all that. But
Yeah.
realistically, there's really not. And there's
No.
only so much real estate to go around.
Right.
So, and that's a diminishing number.
Of course.
Now, remember, that's 1,500. That includes rental properties.
Yep.
And here's what we know in Houston. Let's say 1,500 times 0.05, because we know that only 5% of the marketplace is rentals. That's 75 a month. I want everybody to understand that. That's 75 single-family houses a month that are rental properties. The rest of them are flips. There's not that many out there. And that number, here's what's crazy. 75, let's take 75 times 0.7. Now, Jason, what's that 0.7? The housing market below $150,000 is losing 30% inventory every year. They're appreciating out of that class.
That number's probably real.
So next year, it's going to be 53 houses.
Well,
a month.
it's less than 200 now a month available on MLS.
That's right.
Yeah, so.
And those houses sell, 50% of them sell in 7 days or less.
Yep. And that's institutional buyers.
That's institutional
Wholesalers,
buyers. It's
whatever.
guys like us. It's so this idea that I'm going to be able to do real estate forever if I go to another Tony Robbins event in Houston is not going to happen. You are going to be priced out of the market inside of a year. You got 18 months.
Right. So what's going to happen here is this market is going to go one way or the other. You're going to remember, I moved here because this was one of the very few markets in the country that had both cash flow and appreciation on rental properties. So you're going to just wind up being just like every other market. You're going to hopefully buy either on cash flow because the interest is so low, but you're going to have to pay a lot more for the property.
Yeah.
Or you're just waiting for appreciation.
Yeah.
Right? And that's not uncommon for everywhere else, but like here, Raleigh-Durham was a good one that I looked at. Jacksonville was another one I looked at that you could get cash flow and equity. Arizona, to a certain extent, there wasn't many that you could go deep on.
So here's what's accelerating that process. I saw median rent for New York City is now below $3,000.
Nice, let's move.
And so what people are asking me, like, what's causing all these affordable markets to increase in value? You don't have to work at the office anymore.
That's right.
You can work in Memphis. You can work in Houston.
Sure.
You can work in San Antonio. You can work in Dallas.
Yep.
You can work. You don't have to work in these major metros anywhere. And it's going to drive the price up through the rest of the country.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening. That has accelerated it. This is some other demographic data that we'll get into in our next segment.
Yeah. Hey, this is Robert and Jason again. Thanks for joining us. We will be back. That always bothers me when that guru stands up there and says, there's 1 million homes here. How many of the million do you want? No. There's probably about 50 the way you're talking about it. And that's unfortunate. But guys like Scott Wizik are they're
gonna crush it.
This is it. This is their time. This is what they've been waiting for.
Yeah.
Yep. Even our mastermind, 3 or 4 guys, 80 plus properties. This is what you're waiting for. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Hey guys, thanks a lot for watching us here on YouTube. We appreciate it. It's our new studio. We still need the curtain. I think the curtain will take care of a lot of the echo, but we're moving in. This is the Texas Real Estate Center. We'd love to have you as a partner here, as a tenant. So we do have some office space available. There are some people kind of ahead of the curve already. So as you might expect, a lot of the private lenders and hard money lenders have staked out a claim or a spot here in our building. We're backfilling it now with our EXP team and some private investors, some contractors, already 2 contractors in the building. We're going to get an architect and a permit person in the building. So we're filling it out. We do have some spots left. We would love to see home inspector. We'd love to see a pest company that just sort of take a little stake here. what else are we looking for here? We're looking for a retail mortgage lender, like really retail Fannie and Freddie. So if you know anyone that fits some of those criteria, we would love to have you in the building. We could talk about, getting you guys set up and being really, really fair on that first year so that we can get you in the building. But it is the Mr. Texas Real Estate Center. It's on Hollister, right below 290. We are super, super excited here. We're planning for a big little Christmas party, walkthrough, outdoor, chestnuts roasting on an open fire type deal, December 7th. So that is already up on Eventbrite. Go ahead and fill that out. Any of our proceeds will be donated to charity. And we're really super excited to be moving into the building. The studio is coming along. We got our nice little Texas table here. And our office is almost there. And, again, people are moving in. As of November 1st, we told these folks they can move in, so it's very exciting for them. We'll have I think there's a couple people kind of working here because they don't have an office, but they're moving in early. And if we could turn the camera, there's a bunch of furniture coming in from a lot of our tenants that are just getting some boxes delivered here.
So with what's sitting out in front of the office lobby right here, we're going to put together a name and shame policy. If your mail sits at our front door for more than 48 hours, I'm going to post it on Facebook and sell it and then name you. You guys need to move your crap into your office. I know exactly. They're literally right down here. I know exactly whose stuff that is.
So it's sitting over here. But yeah, people are moving in. The last thing we need is get that bathroom done, and we'll be 100%
good to go.
complete. Yep. So if you guys are interested in joining us here at the Mr. Texas Real Estate Center, it is give us a text at 281-401-9008. You can go to our website, mrtxre.com, and you can hit the tab Be Our Neighbor, right? So Be Our Neighbor, that is going to be where you can fill out, and we're good to go. Excellent. Thank you all so very much. And let's get back to the show. You know what I think we need here in the studio, Jason?
What's that?
We need a refrigerator.
We do need. Oh, it's still sitting in the.
Yeah, we gotta get.
I keep forgetting to get it.
Yeah.
All right, so we are destroying some lies here, some pretty little lies. I'm now getting emails, Jason. You don't understand. Hotels and strip centers are already crashing. I'm like, yeah, because nobody's going anywhere.
Yeah, of course.
You couldn't predict COVID. Like, let's talk about what we can predict.
Well, hold on.
Yeah.
We are single-family, small multifamily guys.
Right.
So everything we're talking about is that realm. And maybe even some bigger multifamily, maybe a little self-storage. But we all agree a strip mall is not where I'd be placing my money at this point. So if they're closing down, dude, where are those people? In the underpass, or are they back home?
Right.
Well, that's two choices.
It's so funny. This is just the beginning, not the end. Jobs are not coming back for a few years. Not true. There could be a housing crash mid-2021 if government relief ends. What are you talking about? There's no government relief for the worker out there.
Nothing now.
There hasn't been for months.
There's an execution, a stay order.
But here's the problem. Okay, so jobs are not coming back. Okay, so then why are forbearances going down? I've got a ton of articles here.
Yeah, foreclosures are, yep.
Look at this.
Historically low.
Let's pull up. This came out this morning. New home sale. Oh, wait, that's not it. Some delinquency rates are declining to pre-COVID levels. Well, wait a second. Delinquencies.
Right. Not foreclosures.
Not forbearances. They're saying it's a 30% decline in loans 90 days or more late. People are getting caught up.
So again, talking about this, we talked about it before. The people who are getting laid off from the strip mall probably do not own their own home, so that takes care of the single-family project. They probably rent, but they're probably not renting by themselves, right? So that would be the core problem there. Again, when you think about who's working at Boost, Boost Telephone, T-Mobile, no one there has got their own apartment.
No.
Right? So they're still living with mom and dad. So, yes, all those things could absolutely happen, but it still is not going to be the big hit to the housing market, right? Mm-hmm. Because we show you the data that, hey, the last decade, only strong individuals got mortgages. Yes. At least Fannie and Freddie stuff. So, We believe that, and again, not just are we doing single family and small multifamily, we're talking about Southeast Texas.
Yeah.
We're not talking about Vegas. We're not talking about Miami. We look at our data. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. This is Mr. Texas Real Estate. I agree you're going to have some problems in Vegas. I agree you're already having problems in San Francisco and New York City and Miami. I agree to all of that, but not here.
Right.
Right? I didn't move from one volatile market to another. I moved from one volatile market to a very stable market, and that's Texas. So, again, if you're watching us nationwide, when we talk about rents, we're talking about like $900, $1,100.
Yeah, $1,200 maybe.
Right. I mean, it's the same cost of a closet in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Right? That's literally with a walk-in closet rents for $900 in San Francisco. And they split the apartment up. You get the walk-in and you get to use our shower,
Yeah.
right? So that's what we're talking about here. So we're in a market that is affordable, or will still be affordable based on the affordability index, that cash flows and has equity, and which is why if you're in California, if you're in Vegas, or anywhere, you want to come here. And if you don't want to move, then call us up and let us work with you here. This is the best market. It will still be the best market. We don't care if Akron, Ohio collapses.
Yeah.
Now, there'll be some ripple, but it's not this market.
Right.
Right? And that was a big thing. It's like, man, people wanted me to invest in Dayton, Ohio for, buy a house for $9,000. I didn't do it because there just wasn't jobs there. That's not this marketplace.
No.
Yes, people from Baskin-Robbins got laid off. You bet. Baskin-Robbins, Burger King, all these other little places, yeah, we got it. The little boutique, yes. Has the oil industry stopped? No.
Well, actually, I mean, it has,
healthcare?
because it's $40 a
We took a crash, and
it's doing just fine.
Yeah. Did healthcare, medical? No. Right? Did logistics stop? No. Right? And that's our three big industries here. So you got the port, right? You got the hospital system, and you got energy.
Yeah.
So we feel like we're in a really good marketplace. Will there be some beating up here and there over the next 5 years? Absolutely. Will it be as bad as Akron, Ohio? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
So, again, when you take that data, because most of the people that are arguing with us just got data from somewhere else.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Right?
It's a
So
lot of that.
you got to be careful what the source is and what market they're talking about. And I don't think you can give us a global or a nationwide prediction at this point. I do not believe that it'll be like 2008 where it all sort of sinks. I think it'll be very much regional based on what's going on with COVID and a few other things.
Yeah. I'm and to go back to this article here, and he's been writing this for years now, and we're seeing it all come to fruition. I mean, it's just there's some great comments in here. We have a built-in replacement buyers at a time mortgage rates are low and are likely to remain so during the next 5 years. One might say this is a perfect storm for housing to outperform other economic sectors for years to come. Then COVID-19 happened, and the chaos theory and the butterfly effect took hold to the United States economy. However, there are some things not even COVID-19 can take away, and that's housing data and starts and all. It's just insane. It's absolute insanity.
I would be worried about Class A. I'd be a little bit worried about Class A. I'd be worried about joining those syndications that are doing Class A, right? That's Uncle Grant. I would be very concerned about that. Not saying that Uncle Grant Cardone isn't really smart and has done lots and lots of deals, thousands times more than us, and raised millions of dollars more than us. I would still just overall, I would have a concern about Class A rentals and doing any sort of just straight equity cash flow off that. Because if the rent does go down by 10%, you're in big trouble in those worlds. It's not what we're doing. We're still buying stuff under $100,000 a door. I would be obviously concerned about strip malls and malls in general and retail. I think we're going through the blip right now in commercial, but I think that will sort itself out once there is a vaccine. I mean, there's only so much. There is probably 13 to 15% of the population that absolutely loves working at home and never having to talk face to face with anyone.
Right.
So you can leave the engineers home.
Yeah.
Right? The guys are
fine.
a little bit on the spectrum.
Yeah.
They're perfect in their house, right? Everyone else, the biggest group in the disc is that social group, and they need to be socialized, right? They're the ones that are struggling. They need to get out.
You know what's so fascinating to me is you'll get these people that'll post like, hey, suicide rates and drug use are up because of corona. But then they'll flip and they'll say, yeah, but nobody's going back to an office. No. And I'm like, you don't understand what's one causing the other. It's the fact they don't have those social interaction. So this whole idea that office space is going to be doomed and no one's going back to an office, I'm like, that's total BS.
That's nonsense.
But people are absolutely going to go back to it. Now, they may not have the private office and all that, but that office space is going to be there. That building is going to be there.
Absolutely. And it might be split. 2 days home, 3 days at the office, 3 days home, 2 days, but there'll still be some office space. Guys, thanks, Scott. We're going to get into our last segment here. We're going to take a quick break. This is Robert and Jason with Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. Remember, check us out on our website, mrtxre.com. MR is in Mr. TX is in Texas. RE is in realestate.com. Hey, we'll be back. Hey, why don't we do 2 shows?
That's fine. I will not be able to make our 4 o'clock.
Okay.
I had something scheduled at 3.
I'll go through the details with them.
Yeah, we can do 2 shows.
Yep. Because tomorrow's always so tough. Hey, thanks for watching. If you're on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe, hit your notifications. We really appreciate that. Give us some thumbs up. Really appreciate that. And you can also tell us, hey, we're looking at the comments. So if there's anything you'd like us to talk about, you can start making some requests, and we will make sure we respond. If you're on Facebook, thank you very much. But let's start to move over to YouTube. That would be awesome for us. Really, really appreciate that. And then again, you'll start seeing our vendors a little bit more. Right, so Jet is here, scheduled regularly now. We're going to get Blink scheduled regularly now. Jennifer, so we're going to have a real, if there's one overarching theme that came out of the mastermind, it was financing and refinancing.
That's right. Yeah.
Right, so we're going to really focus in, and we'll make sure we have our vendors who are experts in this industry showing up. So make sure you guys are using them. Again, Capital Concepts, Jet Lending, and Legacy Mutual Mortgage. So make sure you guys are checking those guys out. Ready when you are, man. Just count us in. Hey, welcome back. Robert here. We're almost done for the night. You want to talk a little politics before we
Give me one more second. I just
Sure.
need one more. We're going to talk about housing stuff just one more time.
Oh, let's finish up. Let's make this
Put a
tonight.
bow on this bad boy?
Yeah, let's do real estate.
We'll do politics.
Because then we don't have to do it for the rest of the week.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, then we can screw
We're
around.
just like, hey, just go back to that night show and you can watch us.
What were we talking about last week when we said, isn't it a luxury to not have to actually do a show and sell people? Like, I got to sell you on my weekend seminar.
$297.
Like, $297. Quick run. If you're not here, you're going to, what is it? If you don't invest in real estate, you're going to die.
You're going to die.
Whatever. For now, just know that the housing bubble boys blew it this year. Why? Because they didn't focus on the 2 factors that drive the housing market: demographics and mortgage rates. Rates can go higher, but demographics are very sticky and not so easy to manipulate. As you can see, this isn't an overheating demand market compared to last year. We aren't even positive for 2020. Not yet, at least. This is just getting started, guys.
Yep.
I'm telling you, it is just getting started. If today is the day to start the career in real estate.
Yep.
If you want to be a realtor, join our EXP team. If you want to be an investor, join the Mr. Texas Real Estate in our mastermind group. But this is the year because the next 5 years are going to be incredible. Completely unlike any set of years you've seen since the founding of America. Like, that's how monumental this is going to be. It's going to be that good.
Like, better than, 58 through 62,
It's going to be even better than that.
Better than that, okay.
It's going to be
huge. Got it.
It's going to be huge.
So what does that mean for again, we know who our avatar is. So you're an engineer, got your headphone plugged in right now. you're listening to us either live or you're listening to us at night or you're listening to our podcast.
Pretending that your wife can't hear us,
Yeah,
or your employer.
or your employer, right? So you're kind of listening to us. What does that mean to that engineer who makes $160,000?
I'll tell you what it means to them. It means that you buy a house, and when you buy that asset, and our belief is it's going to be one of the highest performing assets for the next 5 years, that you can buy that with leverage. So a $100,000 house, you don't have to put $100,000 in. You put $20,000 in, right? And it's going to appreciate rapidly. And right now we're looking at below the median house price. We're almost at 20% a year appreciation. So that house you're in for $100,000 next year is worth $120,000, and the house after that is worth, another $24,000. It's like 10% a year every single year. So
we talked to someone in our mastermind, and I have what I'm calling the spectrum buster.
Ooh.
Right? So he's like, hey, I'm the type of guy that you keep knocking, and I do knock you.
Yeah.
That's just, I'm picking on you a little bit.
Yeah, picking on you just a little bit.
You got to have everything lined up, 100%, all the ducks in a row. And I said, listen, just do this. Pick 3 critical criteria.
Mm-hmm.
Location, cash on cash, 1% rule, potential equity, whatever it is, pick 3. And anytime a deal comes across that you have 2 of the 3 on, put the EMD down.
Yeah.
See, the blessing in this state versus other states is you have an option period.
Yes.
You have a 10-day option period. You can even stretch it out sometimes. You can even ask, hey, I'm going to be gone. I want to buy the house. Ask for, 12 days, right? Mm-hmm. You can get at least a 10-day option period for $100, $50. I know a guy used to do it with a $10 Chick-fil-A card, right? So get your option period, and then you can go full-blown spectrum analysis, hit it, everything up, all the details, all you want. But if the deal comes across your desk and it meets 2 of the 3 of your criteria, put the $100 down. Put the $100 down, and then do your due diligence. So that's the way you're going to bust through this stuff. It does. By the time you figured out if it's a perfect deal or not, it's gone. It's gone. So 2 of the 3 criteria, and then go ahead and call our EXP team. Call Texas Real Estate. We'll get one of our EXP agents to go out there and put an offer on it and wrap it up. Mm-hmm. Right? And that's what I'm calling the spectrum busting right there.
Yeah.
So that's what that looks like for you engineer types. For folks in the medical world, you're super, super busy. I would say your best bet is going to be forcing yourself to get in here on a Tuesday night to meet with Jason and myself or one of our top agents and just figure out how liquid you are and what you could go get.
Yep.
Right? And so there's that person. And then the other entrepreneurs, I talked to someone in our mastermind. He says, well, all the investors I know. How am I going to get any money? They're all putting their money to work. Well, at the end of the year, you and I put money away into IRAs and 401ks accounts. So for those guys out there who are constantly flipping or working in different sorts of spaces that maybe not be real estate, again, best bet for them, join the mastermind. Just come on in, join the mastermind so that we can really sort of shape your plan. And, I don't have time, Robert, to do this all year long. I got it, but you're gonna give me a 35-day period twice a year where you're going to have to focus on that. So that's what we're talking about for the folks that we work most closely with. If you agree, like we agree, this market's accelerating, it's time to get in, time to pick up maybe 2 or 3 more properties. If you hard making a decision, use my little spectrum busting program, set 3 criteria that you think are the most important, and anytime you have 2, make the offer, take the option period, do your due diligence, move on. If your doctor or something very, very fast-paced, then it's going to be come on in, sit down with us, maybe Brian, maybe talk about the fund. So you're still getting in real estate, but you don't have to actually do all the work. Or if you're someone that actually wants to build out their rental portfolio, understands that, but doesn't want to spend every Tuesday, every Wednesday, every Thursday night, just know, come to the mastermind, and you're going to have to give us 2 sort of 5-week periods a year. Just 2. So 10 out of the 52 weeks,